Because we are so gifted, we have lots of noise everywhere, we have competitions, everything trying to call for your attention. So if you don't have purpose, if you don't understand it, you will go in different directions.
Of course.
Today you see that this one is making money, you go that direction. The next day you feel like, oh, this is what is trending. You want to trend, you want to be influential, you want to make money. Any way will become a way. But when you understand purpose, you will know that some things will not work for you. You know that some things, you are not just designed for some things. I remember some years back, when this popular Ponzi scheme was
came out. Funny enough, we talked about this last week.
When this Ponzi scheme MMM was around and the likes, people were doing it, they were making money, but the thing was not really moving me to do it. I just felt like, it's not something.
It won't work.
Yes. So when you understand purpose, you know that some things will not work for you. You will know that everybody may do it, but if I understand why I'm here, then this does not align with my values, so you don't want to do it.
Okay. Now it's so deep. Anybody listening to us now might feel like it's easy for you to say work in purpose. It's easy for you to say do what works and all of that. But how do I know that I'm in my purpose, or how do I know where I'm supposed to be?
Okay. So I think 2 years ago, one of my proteges, he asked me, he listened to a motivational speaker, and he now asked me that, how do I find purpose, this and that. So he asked me that, when did I find my own purpose? And I told him that, see, some are privileged to find it at once, maybe through some diligent search and just being indoors, trying to question many things, you find it. But many others stumble on it over time. It comes in phases.
Of course.
So I told him that when you hear people say, I found my purpose 10 years ago, sometimes it's not always like that.
Of course.
But when they look back 10 years, they were able to identify that moment in their life that helped them to understand it, and they can make reference to it that 10 years ago, and you feel that 10 years ago they just sat down and the purpose thing just
came.
Boom. So, and that has been the challenge of many people.
Of course.
They get discouraged that I'm trying to find the same purpose, others are just making reference to. But most of the time it does not work that way. And one of the things I encourage people on is that, how do you find purpose? Number one is this: who will define the purpose for you? Nobody can. Your parents cannot even define your purpose for you, because they did not even choose that we want a boy.
Yes.
It's only when the mother was pregnant, they went for a scan, they knew it was a boy. So nobody chose that. And even the boy himself did not even choose I want to be born in Nigeria.
Oh, of course.
She understands. So you did not, if you look at your life, you did not choose to be a boy or a girl. You did not choose the country you were born in. You did not choose the family you were born in. So there are many things about purpose, your purpose, that you did not choose. You only found out that you are a boy or a girl. You found out, this family. If we are allowed to choose, many of us, number one, will first of all,
we will not even be in this country, because why?
Sure you get. So we are not allowed to choose many things.
Of course.
And that also includes purpose. So what do? We discover purpose.
Okay.
We don't define purpose. You can't define who you are, that I'm going to be a girl. No, you only discover that you're a girl, and you now start understanding and accepting it. So when it comes to purpose, also is purpose discovery, not that you're defining purpose. So who is qualified to define purpose for you? Not your parents, because sometimes the parents want you to become a lawyer and you say, no, I want to become a musician. So they could not even define that for you. So how do we define it? Not even a motivational speaker, because the person can, based on his own physical assumptions, he can say, oh, go in this line, and that may contradict your line and who you are. So most of the time, you also see self-help books that will say, look within. The truth is this: you can't find purpose within.
Within. There are lots of these things out there, you know, how to find your purpose, YouTube, oh my God.
So you can't find purpose within, because it's not within. What you can, I always tell people that what you can find within is potential.
Of course.
You look within, what can I do? You'll find out. Yes. But when it comes to purpose, the question is this: we need to understand and accept that we did not create ourselves.
Of course.
And if we did not create ourselves, there is a creator and there is a product. So the creator can best define or reveal what the purpose is. Okay. So most of the time, one of the things I encourage people to do is this: just take out the time and pray to your creator, asking him his purpose for your life. Then he gives you the blueprint. Then you can run with the potentials you have in the direction of that purpose. Now you know that whatever I'm doing it to achieve a purpose. So if you're a footballer, you are playing that game to achieve a purpose. That's why you see some footballers that when they are successful, they want to use it to help the young, maybe the girl child, or yes, they're giving back because they understand that that's their purpose. So without understanding the purpose, you just think life is all about me, myself, and I want to make money. When you make the money, what do you want to do with the money?
Money. So and the thing is, a lot of us already know our potentials. We already know what we can do, what our abilities are, but we don't channel it in such a way that we can know what we should be doing with our abilities. Because everybody has potentials. Everyone has abilities. Now, like you rightfully said, what you should be looking inwards for is your abilities, your potentials. And, you know, sometimes they're not finished products already. You know, I know that I love to see people speak, right? I didn't just wake up and start speaking. Right, I saw that you know, it's something that catches my interest, and I don't know how to do it. Most times when I tell people that I'm a very shy person, they don't believe it, because you know, I have never thought about myself in that line. I just like the fact that that's what people do, and it looks good when they do it. Now, as I progress, sit down, and it will come upon your life. It doesn't just come upon your life. It's something that you discover as the time. So I now discovered, you know, some of these things I do seamlessly. You know, this is what I do. Being able to put all those together and using it for a particular reason, that's what purpose is. And stop looking within for purpose. Discover it through your abilities, through your potentials. Then you can get your purpose. Now, a lot of people as well have discovered their abilities, their potentials. Now, how can they know all these things, but piecing it together is a problem. I can sing, I can write songs, I can act drama, I can do this, I can do that, but I don't know how to piece them together and use them for a particular goal or a purpose. So how do you think, you know, such a person can?
Okay, so like sometimes I give an example to people that, okay, if for example this person is a footballer and he feels like, I've discovered my potential, I'm a footballer, blah blah blah. If he has discovered his purpose, fine. But if he has not, okay, what happens if maybe in the course of playing the game he has an injury and the leg, boom, they said you can't play football again. So what happened? Is it that his purpose is gone? No. It's just the potential. Okay. And we have many potentials. So since we have many potentials, what we need to find out is which one brings me out, which one is major. Yes, we have ability to do many things, but we can't do everything. We have, it's like in stages. Like, take for instance, like me. I'm into digital marketing, into multimedia. I sing, I write, I do public speaking trainings and many other things. I even play instruments sometimes too. So I do a whole lot of things, and these are things that was a challenge to me at a point in my life, that you can do everything. So how do you connect everything together to do it? I understand where this is needed. So in that's why sometimes you see that some of our Nollywood actors and whatever, maybe they started out as actors and later now they are into law or maybe into
music. Music.
Or so all of these things show that our potentials have some stages and phases where we're meant to use them. But in all of that, what is the reason why you have that potential. What are you going to use that potential to achieve? So what do you want to achieve with that potential is the major thing. So whatever you have, what do you want to achieve with it? What solutions are you creating with it? So it's not just that if you have 5 potentials, which one is needed at the moment? Then you always have the primary one, then you have the secondary ones. So it's for you to identify that which one is my primary potential and which one is the secondary one. Like now you are doing the radio stuffs and the like. In 5 years time, it could be that you would have developed and migrated into something that you have within you all this while, and that would be the bigger version of what you're doing. Hope you understand.
Of course.
So most of the time we just have to start with one. If you want to do everything, because you can sing, you can write, you can do this, you want to do everything at once, then you are not really focused. You need to find one. Which one is the primary one? I always ask people that if you are to do one thing for the rest of your life, what would that thing be?
Doing?
So you discover that you can do many things and you have the option to choose one. That's when you become focused. That's when you go for the major first. Yeah. So in life, there are minors. And if we don't understand that there are minors, we want to major on them. We want to say, because I can do this. Why do you want to do it? Is it because of money? I once met a guy like that, I think 3 years ago, and I asked him that, why do you want to do, why are you going into IT? He said, to make money. He said, why do you want to make money? I questioned the why up to like 5-6 times. And at some point, it was
stranded.
And I told him that, you see, this is why that you are trying to make money from it, to get a job and make money. But some are going there to define the job you get, to create another job. Some are going there to define how you live. So sometimes we have to look at the big picture, not just for survival. I want to do this to make money. No. Some are doing it to create and redefine how we live. So that has to be our core. So go for the primary one first before just going after every other thing. There are places where the secondary will function, but we have to understand that if I'm to do one thing, what would that thing be? Yeah.
That's how to find what to be doing. People, are you listening? It's still Eagles 102.3 and it's the workstation. Here I'm hanging out with Tosin Kato, and he's a life coach, a mentor, and an author. I'm thinking we should not just move straight into personal development, you know, but yes, let's talk about that as well.
Okay.
This is something a lot of people overlook. And I always say it here that when you are personally developed, there are certain things that you will not fall short of.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you will ordinarily not lack when you have developed yourself personally. But let's hear from your point of view. When we say personal development, what are we talking about?
Okay, so personal development and purpose are still linked together.
Okay.
So the purpose is why am I here?
Okay.
Then the personal development has to do with what can I do? What's my potential?
Okay.
So having discovered your potential is not enough, then you now develop it. That's where personal development comes in. So sometimes we develop our potentials without understanding why we're here.
Of course.
So, but both can work. You can do one first before another.
Of course.
Yes. So personal development, most of the time, you know what you can do, but it's still in its raw state.
Of course, raw
So
state.
without developing it, you just find out that you can sing, but I know of someone that she went for an audition years back, I think like 10 years plus, and they did not select her. So when she now met me, she now said, "Is this how you people do it?" I said, "How now?" She now said, they did audition for me. They asked me to sing a song. I didn't do that. I told them I can't sing other people's song. I said,
"Oh, you have to sing your own." You can imagine.
So you can see the way the person is thinking, that she wants to only do what it has. And if you limit yourself to what you can do without developing it, then you can't really fulfill much about your life. Let me give an instance of someone that developed herself. I think that's like 12 years plus now. That day I was just sharing with her on personal development and purpose as well. I was sharing with her that sometimes people do the wrong thing almost half of their life before they now realize that.
This is what
That's
I'm
why
supposed
somebody
to
will
do.
go and do banking and finance, work in the banking sector, and maybe after some years, the person will now go into project management or event planning or something else, and that will be where he would be able to fulfill his life and everything and the life. So I was telling the person that you need to find out so that you don't waste life. The person wanted to become a teacher, and I told her that no, find out what you are meant to do before you waste your life doing the wrong thing. So, but as God will have it, that night she dreamt and she saw someone telling her that go and learn fashion. That's where you'll make it in life.
Can be that direct for some people.
It can, yes. And she was like, no, what fashion? I don't know. I don't have that in mind, blah, blah, blah. And she woke up, she told me, I told her that, do you want to suffer in life? If you want to suffer, go and do your teaching.
And that's what happens most time.
Yes.
People, when you are struggling somewhere, sometimes it's just challenges because, of course, you might experience it in one place or another. But for sometimes, it's just like putting a triangle in a square pegs. You put square pegs in square holes. The moment you're putting it there, it fits originally because that's where it's supposed to be. But when you're trying to put a triangle in a circle hole, or when you're putting a rectangle, it won't work. It won't work. And that's what, finding your purpose is about. But most of us don't even realize it. Now, what are the things that people can do to ensure that they are self-developed? Because when we say self-development, people will say it's everything I have to do by myself. Because of the self right there. I have to learn things for myself. But what are we talking about? Self-development. What can you do to ensure that you self-develop?
Okay. So when you want to go the path of self-development, it's a journey. The first thing first is that you need to have a hunger for learning.
Of course.
Yeah. If you are not hungry for knowledge, you can't develop yourself.
Of course.
Because self-development is all about having more knowledge. If you know better, you do better. And rich minds produce rich results. So you can only be better when you know better. So self-development is more about acquiring more knowledge, becoming more aware of who you are and what you have, and developing it based on the knowledge you have. So I think this morning I was sharing with my wife when I took the kids to school. I said, when people pay for master class, for example, what are they paying for? Is it that when you pay for the master class, they will now give you some tools and hand it over to you? And is it physical? No. What they're giving you is knowledge.
Of course.
And you have a sense that I've bought something. You have a sense that you have something. So knowledge in itself is a tool. Knowledge in itself is what you need. So one of my mentors, he always says something that you can do something, but when you combine 4-5 heads, you will do it better.
Of course.
Which means that you can go online, check how others are doing it. At the end of the day, you have exposures in 5 areas or 6 areas, and with that you can come up with something better. So 5 heads are better than 1.
Of course.
So self-development is all about having that knowledge, that desire to learn. If it's not there, you can't develop yourself. So you first of all have to acknowledge that you need to learn.
Of course.
And once you have that acknowledgement, that awareness, that desire to learn, then you are already on that path. When you see people, you want to learn from it. You want to learn from everything.
Of course.
So that's what self-development is all about. I know of people that they've been doing some things. You can be at a workplace spending 5 years there, doing the same thing for 5 years. So it's not about the number of years you've been at work, but we have some other people that every year, every moment, it's a new knowledge for them. So you spend 5 years at work and you're 5 years developing yourself. That's why sometimes you can break out from the organization. I always tell people something that the organization is a living organism. Just the way we are living. Now when you enter an organization, you can be below, but over time if you work on yourself and develop yourself, you can develop yourself to the point that you are asking for a higher pay from the organization. And sometimes you can develop yourself beyond the organization, that you are looking for a greener pasture somewhere. Are you getting?
Of course.
And sometimes if you don't develop yourself, you can be in the organization for 7 years, 10 years, and they'll keep paying you the same amount. And you now say that they are bringing new staffs, look at how much they are paying them, and they said there's no money, this and that, but they have money to pay those people. It's because those people have a higher value, they have developed themselves. So most of the time when the organization is over developing more than the person, they can lay the person off.
Of course.
So self-development is all about going for new knowledge, increasing your knowledge about what you are meant to do and how you're meant to do it. Yeah.
All right, seeking knowledge. And that's what most people don't do. Sometimes I wonder what we get so busy on our phones doing. We're always and somebody one time, so I was talking about my screen time. You know, I said last year there's like a cumulative how do you call it, whatever it is, they will just add it together and tell you this is the number of time you've spent on screen for this year. And I was like, this entire year I spent the entire year on my screen doing what exactly? So I tried to study what I was spending my time on. You know, sometimes social media, sometimes research, sometimes courses, you know, and all that. But one thing the person told me was, in this whole digitalization and this whole internet space, it will be better for you to be a producer than a consumer.
Yeah.
And this is what most of us don't understand. We just consume. Whatever we see, we consume. We keep consuming. And we don't generate anything. We don't produce anything. Nobody sees us there. All what we do is we pick our phones and we keep looking at what people are doing. And, you know, but it will be better when you start to... Everybody must not be content creators.
Yes.
Everybody must not be influencers.
Yeah.
But look for what you can add to the system. Don't let the system take away from you. Because actually, this system takes a lot from people without them even realizing it. You are there, you are scrolling one, this on Instagram. Before you know, you have scrolled through and you're looking for what nobody sent you. Do you understand? So personal development is very important. And then let's talk about courses, online courses.
Okay.
People think that they are not effective ways to build or to develop yourself. Do you agree with this?
Okay, the thing is that you need to know what works for you. So to some, maybe the discipline to stay and finish your courses, they are major challenge. So you need to know what works for you. The thing is that the knowledge in the courses, the videos are also the same knowledge in books. So if books work for you, go for books. If video courses work for you, go for it. If audio works for you, go for it. If physical works for you, go for it. But the truth is that you will always need to learn from people.
Of course.
And online courses are very effective. It's helpful. But the thing is that if you don't understand if you don't understand what you want to achieve, you will just be learning everything. Because everything is catchy to you. So you need to first of all sit down. What do I have? What are my potentials? What do I want to develop? What are the primary ones I want to go for?
Who is doing what what I want to do?
Yes. Then you go for that. Like one of the things I always encourage people, because YouTube and Google are things that helped me a lot. It's been of great help to me. I remember those years. If I'm talking with someone like this, you just see me press my phone, you don't know what I'm doing. I've gotten something from you that I need to search and from Google. So I search it on Google, I take note of it, boom, boom, things like that. So that's how I was learning then. But at some point you discover that it becomes a branch. You keep going like this, you keep going like this, there's no end. Before you know, you found yourself where you
don't even plan.
And you watch some YouTube videos, since they are content creators, it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, and they are just taking it like a tip of the iceberg, and they are not giving the details. So along the line, I discovered a structural way of learning online, which I told some of my proteges to work with, is that if, for example, you have a desire for project management and you want to develop yourself on it, in case you don't want to go through the paths of all this Coursera, Udemy, Allison and the likes, or you just want to go on YouTube and the likes, one of the things you should do is look for when you're making a search, include full cost there. When you add that, you'll get some that will be 2 hours, 3 hours. Yes, they'll go deeper there. Other times, another thing you can do is get a book on that online.
Okay.
When you get a book, especially beginner books, there are some books like that it has to do with dummies, maybe these dummies and the like. So what you do with those books is that each of the topics and the subsection becomes what you search for. So that guides your search. So when you look at the chapter 1, you look at the sub, then you go on YouTube and search for it and watch the videos on that. So that guides you. But without a guide, you just be learning everything. But online courses are very effective. Yeah.
No, I was asking, not just for people, for the sake of people. Personally, I'm a traditional learner.
Yeah.
So I prefer to be in class. I like that system. I feel like when I'm looking at your expressions, I can't forget what you're telling me because, you know, that's the way we're used to. But I guess I'll adopt this method that you've talked about. Anyways, I think it's time where we get to open up the phone lines. We have just a few minutes. So that anyone, you know, finding themselves in situations like this where you're trying to still struggle with, and trust me, I understand when we talk about struggling to begin to fit somewhere or harnessing your potentials and your abilities. These are real life struggles and nobody's undermining that fact. People go through it every day. As a matter of fact, even if you have found your potential, you know, times are changing. Different things are becoming more eminent or are now required of you. So whether you have found your purpose, you need to still keep learning, still keep discovering newer potentials, newer abilities. Now it's like Google, you know, somebody created Google, but I now know that there's a way to use Google that will give you almost all the results that you need. You know, that's a new potential. Maybe my potential is to find out something that is missing in someone else's creation. I don't have to be the one to create it. You know, I just need to be able to do something that is of value. And that doesn't change. That doesn't end. You know, as long as you keep growing, as long as life keeps going on, you keep learning and you keep discovering new abilities. So there's no need for you to be hard on yourself. Since how many years ago, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. If you find yourself in such a situation, there's someone here in the studio that will, you know, put you through. We have less than 5 minutes before we get right into that. Let's see who we have here.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Oh, wait, afternoon.
Yeah.
Sorry, good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, welcome. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Okechi.
All right, Okechiku, welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Dawn.
All right, let's hear
you. I just have a challenge. I'm a type,
okay.
And I want to leave this job. You understand me?
Okay.
But I don't know how to do it. You understand? And I want to join business, but how to go into the business is what I don't know how to start. But definitely, I am done and I'm tired of this thing because I've done it for so many years.
Okay.
And I've not seen any profit. So I don't know if there will be any advice or anything that will tell me where I will go so that I can be able to look for another thing that I will do. Because I have children. Now I don't think I will continue with this thing. That is my point.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Just keep listening. I'm sure he'll be able to have an answer for you.
Okay.
Right, let's hear you.
So I think if I get him right, he has a job.
He's a taxi driver.
He's tired of it. He wants to change.
Do something else.
Okay, so let me give an example of a young guy I met like 3 years ago. A friend of mine in US was the one that mentored him.
Okay.
And the guy is just about to enter 100 level in UI. So he's still very young.
Okay.
And this guy works in a supermarket.
Okay.
And it's a shift job.
Okay.
So at night, around 12 to 4 a.m., you'll be learning programming.
Okay.
So 4 hours doing programming. I think he was using 8 hours. So maybe he starts before 12. Okay. So he uses up to like 8 hours every day learning programming. And guess what? Within 1 year, he became a full stack developer, which means it's front end and back end. 1 year. And in the morning, when it's time for the shift, he will go to the supermarket and do the work there. And he managed that for 1 year. And after 1 year, he applied for a job in US, and he got the job. but they discovered that it was not in US, it was in Nigeria, so he lost that opportunity. But he was not that disappointed. He was so happy that at my age I can even get a job in US. So that means I have a value that is beyond my immediate environment. So and that year, I think 3 years ago, that year he came to Abuja to do some processing because he was already trying to travel out to some schools abroad and the likes. So the advice is similar to this. I think I sent a message to you some nights ago about a lady. One of the things I told her is that, see, you have a passion to teach, but number one is that you need something to foot the bill. You need something to pay the bills. You need something to clear the bills. So you need to, first of all, sometimes start out with something that pays the bill, but within the same time, you are also working on developing yourself to come out of that stage.
Of course.
So I told her that sometimes you have to go in the parts where you don't have passion for. Many of the people doing business now, some of them don't have passion for it.
It's a means to an end.
Yes. Sometimes they just start out that, oh, there's money here, let's make the money. Sometimes the passion comes into the business.
as you progress,
you understand?
You find the passion.
But if you listen to a motivational speaker, they always tell you to go about your passion. And sometimes your passion, it takes time to develop it, your potential in it. So that time, what will you be living on? So what I would advise him is this. First of all, look at your life. What are you good at? It's not everybody that has to be good with computer. So don't force yourself to go in computer parts or whatever. So look at your life. What are you good at? Are you good at talking? Are you good at singing? Are you good at hand works? Maybe you're good at handling something, fixing something. 2 days ago, I went to my mechanic to fix my AC to help me refill it. And I was asking him, because I just like to learn from everything. I love to just, sometimes my wife will feel like, do you want to do this? I said, no, you just need exposure. So I was asking him, how did you learn? How did you come here? How much did you pay? He said, he paid 70,000. I said, that 70,000 is for what? He said, it's for 1 year.
Wow.
I said, wow. That the 7,000 is for learning, so you stay there as long as, he said it's up to 6 years now, but you're still there. I said, wow. So once you pay 7,000 now, you start learning the thing. He said, yes. My wife was like, do you want to learn? I said, no, but I need the knowledge. Sometimes you can be in life, you are not the one that will use the knowledge, but you have people that are in need of it. You give it to them.
Of course.
So someone like this now, look at your life. What is that thing you are good at doing? What is that thing? If you are to do one thing for the rest of your life now, I'm sure it will not be driving because you're already tired of it. And what you're doing and you're tired of shows that that is not what you're passionate about.
And the thing is, aside from that, you said something rightly here, which is, you don't have to just leave what you are doing because you need to pursue your passion. You need something to finance your passion sometimes. So you can't just move out of driving now. And what people don't realize is there's something, if it doesn't work for you doing it yourself, how about you do it with somebody?
True.
Sometimes there are bigger platforms, there are better platforms to drive. But if you are thinking about driving for yourself, it might not work for you. So look for other better ways to drive. If you're driving somebody, it's either you're driving somebody or one of these platforms, you register in one of those platforms and you start to do it under those platforms while someone else does your own driving for you. So just look for a way to create a balance. It's not just once you're tired. There are times when we get very tired of situations, but we can't leave because, like he said, I have children to look out for. I have bills to pay. So what you should be doing now is not thinking of how to leave the job. It's thinking of what you can do to elevate your standard of living. Right.
So he's already on the path of self-development in the sense that he's already aware that there is a need. So now the next thing you should do is find that one thing you need to do. Develop yourself, maybe target 6 months on that thing. And after 6 months, when you know that that thing can now fund you, can finance your family and the likes, you can break away little by little. So instead of you doing 7 days driving, maybe you now start doing 3 days, testing out the other one if it can pay you.
Of course.
Then after like sometime you can reduce it to maybe twice in a week, and before you know, you can, like she said, you can outsource the car. They can drive for you while you use your time for other things. So you give the company, not minding the little amount they give you. So, but don't just find your passion now, and because you want to develop it, you park the car.
And, you know, that's not like a wise thing to do. And yes, sadly, we have come to the end of our program here today. We might, I'm going to beg to sin, if you come tomorrow, we might continue this conversation, you know, tomorrow. Whatever the case is, thank you for sticking around, of course. Thank you so much, Tosin, for being here as well. And see you again in the next hour. Of course, you people know it's my favorite time of Mondays, and I'll see you there shortly. Don't go anywhere. Of course, I'll